All right, go
Well,
on here.
will we do it inside?
Yeah, we'll do it as we're walking. If you like, you
Yeah.
can explain about this up here.
Yeah.
This all here.
Well, this is Palace, and Palace Tower House particularly we look at, which was about one of the Norman tower houses built here, and the de Burgos were the main Norman family, and they built about 120 of these across South and East Galway. This one is unique because it's got the best preserved bawn wall. Bawn is the Gaelic for two words, ba and dún, a fort for cows. So under attack, they would bring in all their family, their possessions, through this keep tower here. And there's the crest over the doorway. And you have this projection over the doorway where the army, their defenders would fire down missiles down top of you if you tried to get in here through the gate. So we'll take a walk in through. You can see the tracks of the carriageways here, the cobblestone.
Yeah.
You can barely make them out there. I have photographs with that better. And they went right the way through here. So there's your information.
Well, you'll be the better man on the information now.
Yeah, well, you can see clearly this is built for defence. It's not built to impress. It doesn't have beautiful lawns. And so. In the corners, you have flanking towers, and you have firing holes all the way along. Then, at various places, and you have a wall walk. This is sometimes called the curtain wall or the curtilage. The wall walk as you go along, and down at lower level as well, you have firing holes, all strategically positioned to cover every angle outside for firing arrows and so on. And that's before you get to the tower house itself. And this is the main tower house then. And tower house typically are one room on top of the other, 5 rooms. And only on the 4th floor do you tend to get a large window where the family lived. You see it
Yes.
up there?
Yes.
All the other windows are very slit-like and narrow. They're wide inside. There's an embrasure for firing, again for firing. And even on the corners you can see the openings for firing arrows at people if they manage to breach the wall here, which would have been very, very well defended. You can see all the firing holes again in the curtilage over there, and the steps up.
Yes.
So this is 600 years old. So it's quite impressive. And if you're on the wall walk and have a look at how perfect the stonework is all the time.
I will. I'm actually going to walk along the
Yeah.
wall. I have to do that.
Now, here up over the doorway again, you have a projection called a machicolation for firing missiles down to protect the front doorway. And also at the corner, you have projections called bartisans. And when they fired missiles down here, the last 10 or 12 feet is slanted out. It's called a base batter. And the stones would hop off that and come back and repel us from getting near the corners if we wanted to take the building. So it was all thought out in terms of defence. Now, while we're at it, if you were caught here under siege, of course, you had a better chance of survival if you had water. So they always built on a site near water, and that water was protected as well. Right around the back here, we'll have a look at a projection in the bawn wall covering over an entrance where the water can come in. That's just up here. So the water came in down there. See the crude steps down to it?
Yes.
A floor here, firing holes again here, another floor here, and more firing holes up there. Well defended. So you'll see in an aerial shot that the wall curves out and defend. If you look in here, of course, you're looking at the dungeon, the 1st floor, where you might be imprisoned if you fell out of favour. Your shot as you want to get it. So you can clearly see the base batter here. Stones would hop off that.
Yes. Yes. So it's yes.
And you don't get that in English tower houses. So we tend to call all these things castles because castles are houses that can be defended.
Yes.
And then later on, particularly with the arrival of gunpowder and so on, and landlords became more powerful and better established, that have undefended houses or mansions, and that's what you get generally when we talk about the big house. So these are a feature from the 13th century, maybe to the 16th or 17th century. After that, they don't exist. They fell out of use, I should say, and they were superseded then by undefended houses, or the great houses that we are more familiar with.
And this would be part of
Now, when the Nugents came here, and Cromwell fell out of favour, Charles came on the throne, and they became well connected. So it allowed them to move from the Tower House to build a more modern type of house here. And you can see the plasterwork and chimneys and so on. This house came out here, and if you look up, you barely make it out. It's wrapped around the Tower House here. You can see a line going up, but the roof appears to have gone. Oh yeah, we don't know much about this 18th century house here, but you're moving towards a mansion. You can see down at base level where the servants would go out the gate, never to be seen over ground, of course, here, out to their place of work outside. Later on, they built a more modern house, and unfortunately it doesn't exist. That's the one we're looking at up there. Around on the corner here, they had a brew house. Just before we do it, of course, you had this gate would be you had a big door here, and then you had a gate here in this place with a chain came across here and went in here. It was called a yett, Y-E-T-T. And if you rub your hand there, you can see how much use that is where the chain is pulled through. And right up overhead, if you did manage to get in here, the first thing you met was a murder hole. Some fella had sent a spear down through your head. The murder hole there, can you see it?
I can, yeah.
Just overhead, and that's the dungeon there. And the stairwell, of course, was designed so that you could use you had a better chance using your sword coming down the way than up. It was designed to give it a better chance if you're defending from above. Whereas if you go the other way, now you'd want inside to see how that operated in your favour.
Yes.
See the firing holes here again, both directions. And this is the brew house here.
That sounds good.
Yeah, this is where the mead would be made. This chute here goes right up to the 4th floor, so also the rubbish and so on and refuse from the house came down, and then your job was to gather it up and take it off. Yeah, yeah. So you can see part of the house was wrapped around. That's part of the second house that was obviously not part of the Tower House.
Yeah.
And Nugents put in this as a brew house then for making ales of all descriptions.
Oh, there's an arch just in. I'm just going to have a quick.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you now, John Joe, is I'm going to have to walk that wall anyways.
Yes,
like
yes, yeah.
So are we finished on this?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.